What's up, guys? Caught Stealing is Darren Aronofsky's new film, written by Charlie Huston, starring Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, and Regina King. And in this movie, Austin Butler plays our main character, Hank Thompson, who is an ex-baseball phenom. He was supposed to go first round in the draft, but something terrible happened to him, and now, years later, he just works at a dive bar in New York, kind of floating through life, and he finds himself amidst this huge criminal underbelly, kind of caught in this web of crime between Russians, between cops, involving money and drug dealers. And very unexpectedly, his life kind of turns to shit, and he has to dig his way out of this hole that he's found himself in. You know, it wasn't really his fault. It's his neighbor's fault, played by Matt Smith. And this is when Hank gets involved in all this, gets trapped in the crime, in this crime web, when they think that he is friends with Russ, when they think he's involved somehow, all these Russian gangsters, they think that he is included, and we come to find out that they're looking for money, specifically $4 million that Russ has seemingly stolen from them. And all throughout this movie, he really just finds himself in a lot of fucked up situations. We have Zoe Kravitz in this as well, playing his girlfriend, Yvonne. I really did think they had pretty good chemistry. I mean, they're both superstars. They're both, obviously, Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz, extremely good-looking people. And you just kind of get a sense of their relationship, you know. That's what we start off with. That's how the movie starts. That's how it begins. But Hank kind of just feels like stagnant in his life. He's just working at a dive bar in New York, just holding on to a lot of that pain and regret that he feels about what happened to him, how he got injured, and how he wasn't able to ever play baseball again. Whereas Zoe Kravitz's character, Yvonne, she's a paramedic. You know, she kind of seems to have more of her shit together. And a lot of the first act of this movie is them really just kind of building up their relationship, getting us to care about them as a couple and what they, have been through, what they want to be, what they want to become. And that definitely pays off later, but honestly, I actually really enjoyed this film. I was kind of surprised how much I was into it, how much I was engaged, caught up in this story, caught up in the web of crime that Austin Butler's character finds himself in. You're just along for the ride. I was honestly just a little skeptical from the trailer with this being a Darren Aronofsky film. His track record, his whole filmography, a lot of his movies are dark, extremely fucked up, and so watching this trailer, it's a lot lighter, it's almost like he's trying to do a little dark comedy type of vibe, a dark comedy crime, especially when you have Bad Bunny in this trying to be a gangster. It just kind of comes across as a wannabe, just not really believable. So the trailer didn't necessarily sell me all the way, but watching this whole film in entirety, even just halfway through, I was hooked. And it all starts with Austin Butler. I mean, there's really nothing to say. We all know this dude is extremely talented. From him playing Fade Rotha in Dune Part 2 to playing Elvis, obviously being nominated for an Academy Award. He's one of the best up-and-coming superstars, talented actors among, Timothée Chalamet, Glenn Powell. He's up there with everybody. And I really enjoyed seeing him kind of just be more of himself in some sort of way, being in a more grounded film rather than being unrecognizable as Fade Rotha in Dune Part 2, playing one of the most iconic human beings to ever live in Elvis. He just plays Hank Thompson, kind of a more of a relatable person. He had it all in high school. He had the whole world in his palms, but he fucked it up. And now he's directionless. He doesn't know what he's going to do with his life, where he's going. He has an amazing girl by his side, but for some reason he doesn't want to take the extra step just because he doesn't know how to deal with his feelings. I mean, all these things, it's just so much more relatable. And I think Austin Butler just does a fantastic job. And Hank really does go through a lot in this film. I mean, you really feel for the character. You really feel for him and want him to get out of this web because he doesn't deserve it. It's kind of strange how fast he found himself involved with all these certain people, the Russian mob, all these different things, the police, corrupt police officers, and just all the different directions this movie goes, all the chain of events that are set off because of this. It is one hell of a ride. I was, like I said, engaged the whole time, eyes glued to the screen. But the only thing that I will say is with Darren Aronofsky trying to make sort of a different film than what we're used to him making, even though there is those dark times, there's those dark situations, those fucked up things that happen that he can't help but, at least include a little bit in his movies. Specifically the third act, there's just a little bit of a tonal discrepancy. There's a little bit of inconsistencies with how the audience is supposed to feel. Sometimes it's just played off as a joke. Am I supposed to laugh at this? Or Am I supposed to laugh at these two characters who are absolutely brutal murderers? And in the third act, it just kind of loses that intensity just a little bit. It doesn't really necessarily bother me quite that much as a whole. The whole experience I still really enjoyed, but it just felt, once again, just a little inconsistent, as in I really enjoyed where the stakes are at their highest, when you're wanting Austin Butler's character, Hank, to get through this. You want him to get out of this, and you want him to win. You want all the Russian gangsters and everyone involved in this crime web to be killed or to be murdered. And with it being Darren Aronofsky, you're kind of waiting towards the end. You're like expecting something terrible, even more terrible, to happen to Hank. You expect him to, just complete opposite of how most movies end, where the good guy doesn't win, terrible things happen, and it just doesn't necessarily go all the way there, which isn't a bad thing. I like directors branching out, trying something new. But just at the core of this film, you would never guess that this was Darren Aronofsky. We also have Regina King in this, playing Detective Roman. She's the first one on the case. She's interviewing, Hank after he gets jumped, asking him a bunch of these questions. Her character, honestly, was just kind of whatever for me. I didn't love her, I didn't hate her, but she just kind of gets to be a little annoying towards the end. You're kind of just like sick of her. And her character, in my opinion, is just written to be pretty standard. There's just not a lot going on with her. Liv Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio are also in this film, playing two Jewish men who are dressed like rabbis all the time. And this is really where the tonal inconsistencies kind of began for me, or kind of are mostly about. I really don't know how to feel about their characters, their role in this film. They're mainly in the third act towards the end. They're two, I don't know if they're brothers or what they are, but they're both Jewish in the same family. They are funny. They are amusing to watch on the screen. They're kind of always bantering, talking Hebrew to each other, making certain jokes about death and murdering, and kind of just making it all sound very light, very lighthearted. They are dressed as rabbis, but they're really Jewish gangsters. I mean, they are mobsters. They're looking for this money as well, this $4 million. And also Action Bronson is in this film, kind of this small role, this regular at the bar that Hank works at. I was like, wait a second, is that Action Bronson? I mean, he only probably has like 2-3 minutes of screen time, but it was kind of strange seeing him in this movie. But yeah, overall, I actually really was surprised by this movie, how much I enjoyed it, how much I was engaged, involved with these characters, wanting certain outcomes to happen. I was kind of rooting for Hank and really just along for the ride. All these chain of events that are happening, everything that gets set into place, everywhere we go, wherever this fucking story takes us, I was with it. I was there for it. Austin Butler absolutely carried this film. He needs to be the lead in every film he does from here on out. So go see this movie. It's definitely a wild ride. I think you'll enjoy it. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, comment. My name is Zach. Later.